So last time I got mad at the underutilization that is Kairi. My bad. This go around, we're gonna cap off the trio and take a look at the character who's had the biggest heel turn in the franchise, Riku. Riku has gone from a character that I can't stand to one I actively root for and want to see get the boy in the end, which does take some doing to happen, I'll admit. I have not even begun to try to be subtle in my idea that Mr. Broody Brood should get with Best Boy, and it didn't start out that way. In fact, when I first got into the franchise, I hated Riku for being such a dick, and now he's gone from that to being one that I wanted to help kick other people in the dick for. So how did this happen? Well, Dream Drop Distance happened. Dream Drop Distance is an utter failure in many ways, and yet has one shining beacon of goodness, and that's Riku. I've said for years now that Riku's arc about getting over how he did a bad at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 has been run into the ground and is one of the worst subplots in the series. In Kingdom Hearts 1, he was a prick who was trying to one-up Sora and was mad that his boyfriend had gotten a new friend, and that's kind of it. Honestly, a solid look into maladjusted teen romances. But from Chain of Memories till Dream Drop Distance, the story was, I'm sad I was a prick for 5 hours, feel bad for me, and it just got old really fast. Chain of Memories was, at the very least, interesting, due to the fact that it had its very own story for Riku, and was more centered around Riku accepting his darkness, not forcing it away. KH2 in 358 Days is all about him dealing with the darkness he took in and saving Sora. And then Dream Drop Distance is subconsciously all about saving Sora and proving that he's more than his darkness by finishing the test. The goal has shifted away from being upset that he fucked up to being able to live with it and focusing on his friends. I get that dealing with your past can be hard, and the timeline of the series is about a year and some change, but for the players, this has been 12 years of content, at least at the time of Dream Drop Distance's release, and it got so annoying so quick. If you look at most characters in the series, they tend to not change all that much. They just learn a small lesson that makes them realize they were either right the whole time, or that they have the power inside them. Riku, and to a lesser extent Terra, has to learn and change something about himself. His brash and rather blunt personality works to balance out the endless positivity elsewhere in the main cast, something you people seem to find as a problem. I personally think that the positivity everywhere else is a good thing because it makes the heavier moments stick with you. I know we've all memed this, me more so than anyone else I know, but the reason it sticks with us the way it does is because up until this point, nothing has really fazed Sora in a negative way. He's had reactions to things and thoughts and emotions and all that, but it's this moment when he finally gets back to Riku that we get that, oh shit, I have emotions realization. Riku, while a stick in the mud for most of the series, is something that needs to be there in the same vein that Ven, Roxas, and Sora need to be there. While these three keep the story from getting unbearably grim, Riku is the dark purple on an otherwise sunshine yellow canvas to counterbalance the cheese. Terra, Axel, and Riku keep their respective trios from being monotone or dull from a lack of fun. In KH2, he does this when Sora breaks down and says the only reason he never went to find him is due to the fact that he didn't want to be found, and when Sora needs that sweet, sweet exposition, Riku explains it in his own way. In Birth by Sleep, when Terra gives Riku the Keyblade, he makes him promise not to tell Sora, and when Sora asks, Riku is just a smug little brat about it. It's just adorable. I love it. Dream Drop Distance is really all about Riku's redemption as a character and how he needs to grow and change. The whole game is just him being the most at being Sora's boyfriend, from making jokes at his expense, to rolling with his weirdness, to just saving his life. So much so that he does it for 95% of the game without realizing he's even doing it, and that's just so cool. The whole game is really about Riku, and that's good because out of the 2 times he gets to be a playable main, need to emphasize I said main, character only for one of them to be worth a piss, and is in fact what made me like him at all. I've said this for years now, but the best way to make us like a character is by making us laugh with them. Sora has countless moments, but a few of my favorites come from KH2 when he's excited to meet Santa and meet a real pirate, or in KH3 when he tries to get to the realm of darkness and can't, so he opts to call Riku and Mickey in the most teenage way I can ever imagine, because it shows us his true colors and has us laugh at his reaction, which is always good. Ven also has moments like this, like when Phil flubs his word count and Ven counts on his fingers, which, fun fact, this is the one time Phil's right, both in Greek and English. And Roxas just has all the moments with Axel, it's great. Riku gets moments with Joshua, Beat, and Shiki that all inform us of how he's grown since Chain of Memories. As I said in my Every World Reviewed in 10 Words or Less video, I have grown more fond of Chain of Memories since it's more relevant than coded, but At the least, it wasn't critical to get Sora's half. Riku's half at least explains how he got out of the realm of darkness and into the coat. Chain of Memories boils down to him fighting 2 or 3 organization members, the Riku replica and the Ghost of Ansem, like 7 times. And while that's more engaging than Sora's stuff because of the way Riku's deck is stacked, it's still not that forward moving for his character. It's more like jogging in place because we need a filler story for him until KH2 starts, which isn't bad. Filler can be nice, but the worlds are so empty and the boss fights are all identical, which I find it funny that we go through the same worlds as Sora, even though Riku hasn't been to half of them. Think about it, we're in the basement of Castle Oblivion. Sora's floors are 1 through 13. Why are they identical? Cause when you think about it, Riku's world should be Traverse Town, Destiny Islands, Monstro, Neverland, Hollow Bastion, and Twilight Town. But the other 6 or so worlds, like Halloween Town, should have been cut. Yeah, we lose out on some fights here and there, but do we need all of the Ansem fights? Do we need every single Recuplica fight? No. No, we don't. The sad thing is, I think Riku got kinda shafted in KH3. Not by much, but enough. For some ungodly known reason, Riku is just shunted to the realm of darkness for the whole game, for the same boss fight repeated 2 times. I get the feeling that he was meant to be more fleshed out, and his story was more involved, kinda like Aqua's demo was, but because of the engine switch, they couldn't really keep both, and Aqua's thing was going to a remake and a movie, so why not keep that in? Riku is just stuck in this purple abyss with probably the worst character in the series, all because Sora lost his strength. I like the idea, and we know that they're doing this to search for clues, but when they're in the actual realm of darkness, all we see them do is stand near the Blank Points rock, and that's about it. I love the fights here, but they're just not what Riku deserved. I will say that the whole thing with him and the Recuplica talking and having that weird bond near the end is really touching. See, the Recuplica is a relic from the second worst game in the series. Chain of Memories. What can I say for a pointless game with little happening? Its characters are strong, except for the one that matters. Oh, and this asshole. It's definitely good, filler story-wise. Recuplica is someone who is defined by what I like to call the double-edged razor blade. He's supposed to be the remnant of KH1 edgy Riku, and having that already hammy performance that was itself turned up to 11, turned up by 11 made him the, let's say, 3rd most remembered character of that game, and I'm being slightly generous with that assessment. What I like about Recuplica is that how he interacts with Riku is that he makes it fun. Yes, the constant fights get repetitive, but so does every fight in Chain of Memories. Chain of Memories after all. I like the fact that this guy has a sort of mini arc in the game, due to the fact that he goes from said edgelord to a chill dude who's sworn to protect Naminé. And in Kingdom Hearts 3, he has the same goal, only this time he does it by encouraging our Riku and helping him after the fight with the other Recuplica. It's a pretty solid arc for the guy, and overall I like how it all came together. He was created to protect Naminé, but rather than having him just pull a White Knight and getting her, he sacrifices himself for her to give her a new body. If I had to say one thing to Riku's benefit, it has to be his dependence on Sora. Something the series likes to say a lot is that your friends give you power, and while I love Donald and Goofy, Riku is truly the Tifa to Sora's Yang. Like if you get that reference, if you don't, here's an iCard. Riku needs Sora so that he A, has someone to care about and smile about and just be cute boyfriends with, and no, I will never stop on this hype train because it's better than the alternative. And B, he has such a stark contrast to Sora that it makes sense that they would stay friends. A lot of best friends, be they romantic or otherwise, have extremely different personalities, but blend in such a nice way that it makes things much more fun to see than 2 similarly calm people or 2 stubborn people butting heads for like the 1000th time. At the very least, these 2 bounce off of each other extremely well, which is why they are the way they are. Chemistry is needed for characters to work well together at all. I mean, it's why we all love Spider-Verse the way we did. The 3 main spiders have a back and forth and a rapport that make us care about their dynamic. If they didn't, then it wouldn't matter. Nothing in this movie would be worth a damn because these 3 need to be compelling and have extremely well thought out dialogue that makes it seem like they've known each other for a long time. Small things like that apply to Sora and Riku. If Riku didn't have that change from 1 to 2, then we wouldn't care. His arc is more about him learning how to be a balance of his angst and the one person he wants to be with more than anything, and the struggle that entails along the way, and we can all get behind that at one point or another. One tiny thing before we close out. I need to say that I love his new Keyblade. Braveheart is by far the single best thing that has ever happened to Riku in terms of symbolic imagery. If you look at Way to Dawn and Braveheart side by side, which one fits Riku better after his arc is complete? To me, Braveheart does because it's strong, sturdy, looks like it belongs to someone who has conquered the light and darkness, and is the most literal interpretation of what the term Keyblade means. I mean, goddamn, were you guys running out of non-Disney themed ideas, guys? This is just goofy, and I love it. Riku as a character has been pretty hit or miss for me, since for most of the runtime it's been, I messed up, I'm sorry, I don't deserve your love, and it got old pretty quick. After they gave him a personality, he became a much more fun character. He's the straight man to Sora's goofiness, and it works well for him. One thing that I want to lead this on is the scene that makes me love Riku so much, and there are a lot of them spread out between the 3 games, but the one that has always just stuck with me is the scene where he and Mickey are just talking in the realm of darkness, and Mickey just says that Aqua is like Sora, and he just freaks the fuck out on it. I have no idea why. I have no clue if it's the gay panic, or if he's getting Deadpool's disease where he's becoming self-aware, or maybe the thought of someone comparing his boyfriend to a woman just freaked him out for a second. But regardless, I love this scene because it shows the real Riku underneath the layers of bullshit, and the hard-ass outer exterior is just a normal kid who's worried about his best friend. It shows that he has actual emotions, and that's something that the hard-ass characters in this series don't pull off too well. Need I remind you of this hilarious display? My name is Chris, and thank God the Demon Tower gave him a haircut. He looks so much better now. I mean, you can see his face and everything. Good job, Darkness. If all else fails, you can open a barber shop.